There we are. Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. Still feels weird at 1x. Yeah, that's how it is, man. I can only function at 1x, you know? Thought it was in 1 hour. No, it's 11 a.m., bro. 11 a.m. EST, I think. Oh, I see what happened. I did send the wrong timeout. Ooh, that's not good. I'm sorry, guys. That is not good. Okay, I just edited it. Whoops. Well, congratulations to everyone that still pulled up in time. I'm just going to do a quick little apology here. Apologize for the mistypo. Alrighty, my bad, guys. I'm sorry. If anyone, I mean, all of you are here, so you guys are happy, but you are fully correct, Adam. That was entirely on me, and I fucked that one up a little bit, but that's okay. Good morning, beautiful people. It's amazing to have you guys on here today. Welcome to webinar. What are we on here? Welcome to webinar 128, our first live webinar after our most recent offline one. However, given the fact that the previous webinar was able to be offline, I hope that a lot of you were able to take a lot from it, right? So that would be talking about the one we just had this last Sunday, where, by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, I definitely suggest that you do, even if you're brand new, as a lot of you will learn, especially as you work through the welcome section. You are going to learn that if you're brand new, one of the best things you can do for yourself is pull up to and watch some of the most recent webinars. I think a good rule of thumb is that if you're brand new, checking out the most recent 3 webinars and then showing up to every recent one is one of the most powerful things you can do, because 1, it shows you exactly what you're working towards. 2, it shows you how the concepts you're learning now, even at the very simplistic versions of them, are used currently by me, by other members. 4, to know that you're working towards greatness, right? There's beautiful, beautiful, deep-rooted ton of information webinars as you work through, and you're going to see that same thing happen in today's webinar, in the webinar that we had on the offline version. But for last week, as you guys know, we did have the offline version, and I didn't want to hold back. So because it was offline and we didn't have to do anything live, I thought it'd be great to put a little edit together for you and also show you how I personally use my current ICI system to actually get involved and trade the markets. So what's up, Peace Pod? Good to see you, brother. Gotta pause for my boys, Peace Pod over here. So in 127, which is of course available to you in the webinar recordings, very quickly, the beginning of it was very, very deeply, very deeply going over my entire system, where I basically did a play-by-play across timeframes, how I analyze, what I look for, what kind of invalidations are created for me on the markets in regards to the remastered course of SND, and actually using price action to just stay out of and then get back involved. And then showed you actual entries, the management that I personally use behind entries. And we kept doing this all the way through until the very end of the actual back test, or the first live, the live trading inside of the back test, where I showed you guys again the same thing I speak about 24/7, which is that if you simply follow rules, take your losses as you need to take them, and then manage your trades as the management comes in and good trades run, you are going to be astounded by. You're going to be surprised by what's available to you on the table. And of course, I did the same thing for you, assuming that you're on a $2 million Ment funding account at 0.33% risk. And let me ask you guys very quickly, based on good journaling and data collection, do you think it's out of the world to assume a 0.33% risk? Yes or no? Right? Now, again, I would say that if you're on a personal account, then you are set. You are perfectly fine. On a funded account, based on the loss that you might have, like 5% to 10%, 0.33% could be looked at as like an average, maybe even a little bit too high, but that's okay. The point of this was to showcase, once again, the same things that we do all the time. To record what I do, my findings, my management, and everything in RR, and then show you what the RR amounts to just by simply assigning a account value to it. So you assign a $2 million account at 0.33%, and you're looking at $6,600 per RR of risk, which puts you at just 10 days of this backtest that I did for you guys, where I walked you through my system, over $88,000 in earnings. And again, this is by no means, especially if you're new, me telling you that this is a guarantee or that you're going to be able to do this for yourself and all this fun stuff. But what it is a showcase of what is clearly possible, what is in front of you if you want to learn the skill, and what you can scale up to, likely with no issue if you're actually looking to do this, trading in general, as a long-term thing. If you're looking to trade long-term, it shouldn't be a question of, oh my God, what if I got to $1 million or $2 million? If you're trying to do trading as a long-term thing, the real question is just when, right? And the when is answered by how well you do your work right now, which is the offline work, right? The backtesting work, the data collection work, because the when is only going to occur if you've done all that work and you've already started to scale your account now. And you're going to be able to do that. And again, the $2 million account, the $1 million account is a function of when, not if, okay? And a lot of you just need to recognize that. And once you do, well, it kind of becomes very clear what's in front of you and what's possible. And then as you guys watch this webinar, 127, you'll see me break down this exact concept of invalidation zones, how to use them, of supply and demand zones in regards to that. And as you keep on moving, I actually do another demonstration for you guys on US 100, but on a low time frame, on 1 minute, okay? So you're going to see another demonstration of the same thing, but then on the 1 minute, and me kind of walking you through what I'm doing. And there was just a beautiful test here again, right? And you're going to see that. And yeah, this was just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Webinar 127 should be added to the remastered course, SND for real. It will be. It's going to be added as one of the more final videos within the remastered SND section, because it already takes into account a lot of other concepts, as you know, right? So if I just put it there right now, it would be like, what the fuck is it doing there? It's all over the place, right? So I have nothing crazy on the mind for today, except for the fact that, hey, look at this. Look at my week on US 100, guys. Can you believe it? Your mentor got a break even on a trade that ran over 35 RR and then 2 -1s. Okay, I just really want everyone to know that, like, everyone goes through this. Every good trader experiences this. And if you're not able to, then you are going to be fucked in the long run, okay? Just remember that. So, yeah. Absolutely beautiful. Noob trader. Exactly. New trader. Yep, definitely. New trader. You know how it goes. But I also want to bring your attention to another market right here on the side, okay? And this one, oh, thank you for that, sir. Yep, we'll take care of disabling annotations. Thank you. Did that break even hurt? This one did not break even yet. So US 100, this one hurt. Like, don't get me wrong. You know, I don't sit here and I'm like, ugh, rules, I'm so good. Of course, seeing shit like this, it's like, fuck. You know, I just missed out on a over probably 10 to 20% gain on my account. Because remember, based on my rules, this candle would have kept me in, and then I would have probably gotten out of my first trade maybe around here. Okay, so my first trade would have been exited. My first partial would be exited around there if I got to hold this. So, of course, I can still be emotional. I can still look at this and go, fuck, man. This is so ass. This sucks. But at the same time, it's the only reason I make money. And as I bring your attention to USD CAD, which is doing absolutely beautifully. It sucks that it came all the way back, but there's a good chance that at market open, actually, there's a good chance it does this at market open, but there's a small chance that it goes like this. And then we're going to be in a really good spot this week. But we'll see. I was in this with you, bro. That's awesome, Dino. That's awesome. Yeah, all to the management of rules. Close for rollover. Tons of respect for that. No problem at all with that. But as we quickly take a look at my journal here, and by the way, anyone that's brand new and sees this and they're like, oh my God, the journal. This is all available to you. This specific journal is in #theprocess, so you can go and find it there, and you can start recording your own data and whatnot. So it's all available. Anytime you see me show anything on my chart, it's available to you as a member of this beautiful team, okay? So just remember that. But yeah, I took like 4 -1s this entire week, and then break evens, okay? And just this one UCAD long that is currently doing well, but you can see it's not complete. It's currently guaranteed the 2.1 RR, as you can see, but I'm still waiting for its completion. And are you guys ready for the craziest equity curve of all time? Right, we are still just going through the normal things. Those losses, those break-evens, all those things are part of the system. It's a beautiful part of the system. And just like I spoke with you guys a few weeks ago, actually a few months ago, what do you guys remember me telling you about this win rate when it was a certain number? What did I tell you I was expecting for it to do? Yeah, I told you guys. So for anyone that's brand new, this win rate was about 51, 52% about a few months ago. And I was like, this has to come down. This is weird. This needs to go way, way down. And lo and behold, we have found our way to 47%. And am I still profitable? Right? We just simply follow rules and we make money doing so. And here we got Dan saying, my equity curve looks so similar right now. The last few weeks of just constant small wins, break evens, losses. It's so normal to experience times of that. And there you go. Overextended equity curve. So this is the beautiful thing about equity curves, Mr. Onions. If you're following rules, because an equity curve, your own equity curve, is representative of your own stock, what should theoretically be true about that stock? So reaccumulation, but yes, reaccumulation, and the fact that theoretically your stock will never stop producing value, right? So actual stocks, independent stocks, need to consistently find ways to produce more and more value, right, to continue growing. Your will continue to grow because the only value that you need to produce is following rules. Now, down the line, as this becomes even more larger and whatnot, and your account grows to larger figures, if you allow it to keep growing, then you will have to find new ways to produce value by way of higher time frames, by way of more markets, by way of diversifying across more markets, etc. That's fine. But this is never going to be an overextended market. If you asked me, if you were like, I'm trading this as my market and I want to buy stop this high as the ICI, should I do it? I'd say yes. Why? Because this is not a asset that trades based on random fundamentals that we can't predict, that other people have say over. This is an asset that you own, that you have full say over, and that you decide whether it goes up or not over the long run, right? So as a result, it's a little bit different. It's your own stock, but you need to be aware of how you're generating the value for it, okay? Now, also, quick announcement. As a lot of you know, we just had our first public kind of call. That was a little bit of a shit show, but I think it was a beautiful, beautiful call, and I think a lot of people learned a lot of things. And it's been posted here, so you guys have it. The foundational ICI trade plan is available in the ICI extras, of course. And again, one of the main points of it, because again, you guys learn so much more here. But one of the main points of this specific one is to show you how patience governs your success, and also show you why other people and where other people go wrong, right? Why was it a shit show? It wasn't a shit show. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I absolutely actually loved it. But because it's a free thing that I hold, now a lot of you might not, I've spoken about this before, but there's a reason I charge for everything that we have here. And it's because it ensures that there's a certain kind of person that is here and that I actually have a say over, whether they're going to be here long term or not. With free members, even though it was 1,000 people. So it was insane that we actually had beautiful, beautiful members that were just like actually learning, but it only takes like 1%, right? When 1% of 1,000 is like 10, and 10 people just spamming the same question or spamming the same worry or spamming a photo is just as, it creates that chaos, right? So I just want to remind everyone that the 990 people, like, it was amazing having them all there, having the place capped out and being able to go over. But yeah. I couldn't get in. I tried 15 minutes before open, so please it was recorded. Yeah, for you guys, everything is going to be available. Do not worry. Do not worry. All right, I'm going to scroll up here and take a look at what we got. So yeah, it was a great show. I did silence the chat though. Yeah, there you go. Had to enter 45 minutes prior. Yeah, we were filled up with like 10 minutes before it started. We were capped out at 1,000 people. So it was absolutely great. Here we are. So let's take a look what we got here. What's good, beautiful people? What's up, guys? It's a pleasure to be here. But yeah, I just really want to grab your attention and have you move to this curve and just really understand what's going on here, right? The only reason I've had profitable months, oh my God, is because I've done the same thing over and over again. I've taken my trades that I need to take. I've taken them and I've taken them to break even if they have to go, or let them run. I've taken my trades as I need to take them and taken insane break evens that a lot of you would probably quit trading over. Okay, not really, but some of you, especially in the place you might be right now, would be like, I need to retest my system. I need to change things. I need to go subscribe to more, courses, mentorships, new FX, other backtesting services, really figure out where my edge is. But like, this is part of the game. Yeah, it sucks. You're going to miss out on 30%, 20% gains on your account in one go. But that is how the cookie crumbles. And then you're going to take trades right after and take loss after loss. And that's part of the game, right? So just remember that. And very quickly, actually, I do want to bring your attention to one more thing. Let's set this account size to 2 million. So let's assume a Ment funding account. And what do you guys want the risk equity to be at? What would you feel safer trading? Even if it means you might lose the account, what would you be safer trading? 0.5, you're crazy. 0.25, I think 0.25 with a Ment funding account would make a lot more sense. So I'm going to go with that. 0.25%. Right, and again, would you be okay with this since August on your $2 million account? Would you guys be all right with these kind of performance since August? Or is it I don't know, maybe. Right. I'll tell you guys what. Me, at Ment Funding, I'd be more than happy with your performance, okay? You know what this performance means for me at Ment Funding? That means if you take out all your money right now, okay? And hopefully you did not get a profit split. I'm making a sexy little 100K right there. Bink. So I'm happy with your performance, which means that you should be extremely happy with this performance, okay? Let's go back to my actual system now. There we are. So just so you guys know, this number right here is actually a little bit smaller because, as a lot of you know, my risk per trade isn't actually like 0.75%. It's based on the tiers, right? So it's basically around 0.75% almost all the time. But there's some mini tiers, so this might be like 77% or something, or like 76%. But yeah, it's like whatever. That doesn't matter so much. All right, let's take a look what we got here. Euro 12 p.m. EST. Yeah, I'm so dumb. I'm sorry about that. No Eagles hoodie today. It's in the wash or something. I don't know where it went. You are blessed to give the wrong time with all the stuff you share. I appreciate you, dude. It's all routine for me every Sunday at 9 a.m. for me. Oh, good. When you live in Scandinavia, none of US time makes sense. That's funny. Yeah, because you're like flipped. You have like the complete flip. Hello, Anton. How are you? Very good peace pod. Happy to have you here. At WTF, Alex says it was very helpful. I've been using those S&D invalidation points nonstop. Yes, and I think that's something that we're going to talk about today. I'm going to use it in our breakdown of the market of what we're looking for, as well as breaking down some of the trades I'm taking here. You can see some of the S&Ds here, but it's a very, very powerful system, right? And it almost what do you call it? It plays off of Dan's initial system where he had a version of invalidation, and I thought about a way of giving it to you. And as I tested it, it just made a lot more sense to follow markets in that regard because I'm spending less time trying to play with all the intricacy of the back and forth on like a 15-minute, and instead I can simply sit here and wait for 1 hour to show that money's coming in and then start getting involved. So I think it's a beautiful, beautiful system, a beautiful extra bit of analysis that you can use on your overall trading. We'll talk about it today, but yeah, the S&D invalidations from the remastered course, one of the most powerful things you can begin to use in your system without actually changing the system just to make it better. So that means that if you're trading a 1-minute chart, for instance, if you're a 1-minute chart trader, right? Let's say you're like, let's say you want to trade like, I don't know, this price action here, but you don't know when to start following it on a 1 minute, okay? So let's say price is around here. You can simply jump to a 30-minute, so rule of 30, or you can start playing around with this because you guys are, you guys here are a lot more proficient with this, but a 30-minute would be the rule of 30, and wait for a clear demand zone. So simply here, we look at this and we say, okay, we have a supply zone whoops, sorry. We have a supply zone that was created here and a supply zone created here. So right now I'll stay out of it because of the double supply zone and wait for a demand zone. Here I go. No demand zone. And there we go. We created a type 2 demand zone. The second that's created and you have this type 2 demand zone, again, you don't need price to come back into it, but now you can assume because money's behind this move, because of what I taught you in the remastered course, because of what this means and what price wants to do, and because of the context, you can start following this thing on a 1 minute now for your given entries, whether it be double MBs, whether it be, I'm going to lock this, whether it be double MBs, fractalized double MBs, ICIs, and now you simply follow this market because you know that the higher time frame has created an invalidation point here, and the market should continue moving higher. So whether that does it through a reaccumulation for you to follow, or some SSCs that you can now follow, or some fractalized double MBs, etc., you now know what you're waiting for, and you now have at least the confirmation of the higher time frame that money's behind this move, right? And then from there on, again, for my system, I see nothing here. For me, for an entry now, I'd want to see like some kind of reset, and then maybe something like that. We'll see if we can get that. Right, so something around here might actually work. Comes down. This is okay. Give it a little bit more time here. Okay, yeah, so nothing here. So some of you might be entering off this reaccumulation. Some of you might be following the fractalized double MB system that I taught you guys here in like one of the webinars in the prior weeks. Like one of the, it's been 100 plus, but you know, there was a system we discussed where you have a flush out and then a fractalized MB1, fractalized MB2, and your entry looks like this, right? So we spoke about this being a system. So that's another trade plan right there. But for me personally, nothing yet. I'd be kind of waiting. I'd give it a little bit more time. I don't like this too much. Yeah, so this is starting to look okay. Comes up the right. Okay, yeah, so I would say like a buy stop through this high right there would have been fine. I mean, it looks like it just gapped into it, so this is kind of bad now, but something along these lines would be a system that I would be happy to trade and take. And again, I would just start managing this thing. Right now, it's not much to do. Yeah, nothing here. If this just comes back, then I let it come back. Otherwise, it can give another entry, actually. So right here, it's about to set up a potential another entry. You know, if it moves, if it does something like this, I would take that as well. Yeah, so that's actually a decent trade as well. I don't like how far it's pushed up, though, so I would wait for it to go a little bit more sideways now. Yeah. So I would miss this one, sadly. Oh, but then this is a great trade. So this is another trade I would consider if I didn't take this one. Something along these lines right here. Yep, doesn't tap you in. Cancel that. This one's still just chilling. At this point, it's building up like a little... Yeah, so here you could move to break even, right? So again, I'm just showcasing this idea of invalidation where if you just wait for some kind of invalidation to be created, then you can begin to follow it and it becomes a lot easier, right? So you just wait now, wait for a move to come into this market that you can actually start managing. So right now I see nothing. Okay, so it starts going a little bit crazy. What are we up at now? About 1 to 2. Yeah, so you just let this kind of do its thing. Yeah, so it looks really good. Starts building kind of this little initial range. A failure down to here would make sense, so I could move my 50% partial there. Yep, so same thing, just moving my 50% partial. Yep, take your 50% off. That puts you at 2.9 RR gain. Put the rest at the MB low, which would be this one. Does it stop me out? Probably. Oh, there's another phenomenal entry right here. If you were to get back in, watch for break even. Take your loss and get stopped out, right? And then that'll be your week in review, right? So that'd be 1.2 plus 1.4, so 2.6 RR. So you would have made 2.6 RR just off of this like invalidation creation. Oh, and then -1, so 1.6 RR. And yeah, so about 7 hours of work, right? So if you were trading like a 1 minute, whatever it might have been, then about 7 hours of work and you're up at 1.6 RR, which by the way, doesn't sound like it's crazy, but that is insane, right? Looking at a 1 mil, a 2 mil, you're talking about a 10K, 20K gain right there. So that's just an example of this invalidation, but very, very powerful. You wait for a type 1 to a type 4 demand zone to form on a higher time frame. Usually using a rule of 30 in reference to the time frame you usually use to enter. So if you're entering a 15 minute, you'll use a 15 times 30 time frame. If you're using a 1 hour time frame to enter, you'll use a 30 hour time frame to wait for a demand zone, because that's how markets move, right? When they create demand zones, it's showing you that there's something occurring. And if that's happening within context, holy shit, it becomes even a lot more powerful, right? So that's one of those examples where you just waited for a 30-minute and then you started following it. And you could keep following it until either you didn't like how far extended it was, which at this point, I might have looked for one more entry here, but if it does this, I would stop watching it, right? So this is okay to enter, and now here I would stop watching until a reset, just because of what I'm used to seeing in regards to, let's call it the MA movement, right? All right, let's delete this. I went a little bit off tangent there, but yeah, so there you go. You have a little bit more of a push, and then you have it find itself back, and you can see what I was doing here. Prices began to, on an hourly, create new demand zones. So we had invalidation points, so I started following it on my lower time frame, and price failed, created a new demand zone right here, started following it again, and again, simply took the long through here. Yeah, it was an okay trade. I was actually okay with this trade, and then took another loss off of that. No break even, nothing. And that's just the game. So it's as simple as that. And you can see, again, in the aftermath, it doesn't really matter. Of course, during, especially if you're brand new to this could hurt you. Your psychology hurt everything about you because you're like, fuck, everything that I take is just instantly failing, right? Like I took this trade, it tapped me in, and then instantly failed down. Then waited, tapped me in, right? I was like, oh, it's going to win. And then instantly failed me down. This is just part of the game. And then you can see, in the end, even all these losses in a row doesn't really affect the underlying, right? Because at the end of the day, I know that over time, it's going to guarantee make me money, right? Here we are. Also, guys, so this Mentafx structure premium indicator, as a lot of you know, the functionality should start working again this week. Okay, so you should all be able to get this, and I will make a little post about this. I'll message in the announcement so you guys can get this on your chart, and yeah, you can have all the cool stuff on your charts, okay? Because remember, everything you see on my charts right now comes just with this, which is great, because I like things in one spot. I hate having to click a lot of different things, so... Anton, how are you? Very good, my dude. 127 was astounding, lots of aha moments. Very happy to hear that. Anton, regarding the webinar 127, do you stop watching for an ICI on the 15-minute when a counter SND printed on the 1 hour? No. If not, what makes you stop watching an ICI? So there actually are a few factors that'll make me stop watching for a specific trade, okay? On a higher time frame, that could be a double supply zone, okay? Not one, but double, okay? Because there's easily going to be a supply zone that can form on the downside without it being the end of the world, right? So here's an example. Actually, this is not an example. Yeah, this is a fine example. Like here, actually, this is not even a good example. Well, I guess in this case, it doesn't even do it. Okay, like here. So you have a demand zone form, right? So here's a down candle, draw it out. So that's a type 4. Here, I'm gonna replay this mode for you so it's easier to follow. Here we are. Okay, so remastered course section, right? Of course, waiting for a demand zone to form. So right now you have a down candle and the high. Oh wait, the high actually does break and trade and close above. So what type of demand zone is this, guys? So I'm just testing people's knowledge of the remastered course now, making sure that people have seen it and understand it, because this is now part of the way that we assign demand types or supply types to actual zones. Yep, type 1, exactly, very good. So you have a type 1 demand zone that is now formed right here. Now, when it's formed and we've drawn this zone out, what does it mean inherently? Does it mean that price needs to come back, or has inherently something been shown to us about price? And what has it shown us? Yeah, beautiful. Exactly, right? It's as simple as that. It shows that there is now probably a very high likelihood that price wants to continue to go. It doesn't need to come back whatsoever, but we draw it out to understand where that's happening, because if price does start to, let's say, come back, what could it be doing here on a lower time frame for us to validate that this demand wants to have money come in behind it? What can a lower time frame do now? Beautiful. Yep. It can go through a stage 1 or an accumulation. Exactly. 100%. 100%. So at this point, you could start following longs on your lower time frame, right? Now, what would make me stop watching for longs, the guy asked. So right now, I'd still be watching for longs, and he asked, would you stop on a supply zone? Well, let's see. So right here, nope, not yet. So you actually make another demand zone. That's great. So we'll keep waiting. Okay, so here we've created what? What have we created, guys? Yep, a supply of what type? So type 1 supply. Now, this is a type 1 supply, but here's where it gets interesting. I won't give a shit about this supply until it gets validated with another supply. Why? Because the money's already showing you where it's going, and the higher time frame and our overall analysis is showing us where market wants to move. So I'm not going to let one supply zone against price invalidate the continuation of trade. And what does that play hand in hand with in regards to our way of looking at models when there's, let's say, one breakdown? What is that theoretically happening on a fractal on a lower time frame? Beautiful. Reaccumulation. Exactly. And like some other people said, creating clouds of liquidity. Just this supply zone created at this point is creating what? Endless numbers of short sellers, endless numbers of mentors and mentorships that are like, holy fuck, it's short. And what do you think this breakdown looks like on a lower time frame? Again, it's a change of character. It's a distribution. It's a breakdown. Okay, so these kind of moments, once again, create beautiful opportunities for liquidations and continuations, right? So unless there's a double supply zone or a double MB on a fractal basis, a double supply zone, I won't stop watching. And I simply will ignore this and continue to allow the validation of this one to move price. So I'd still be watching for longs, because what's going to be happening now on a lower time frame, as a lot of you just went over, if there's going to be breaks down, what else is that showing us on that lower time frame? Stage ones, right? Reaccumulations, back and forth into new stage twos. It's as simple as that. So I would still watch, right? There's no supply zone yet. And now it's hitting our demand. Still watching, right? If price now trades below this, that will create another supply zone, and I'll stop watching it. But until then, it's still valid for longs, and take a look at what happens. This is how clouds of liquidity are created, and this is how people are liquidated. This is what true trend following looks like, right? Just to echo the words of our most recent premium trade plan that we had on Wednesday, this is the more in-depth version of it. This is the fractal and in-depth version of what we do, using the remastered course as well, where you start understanding how money is poorly positioning itself. So the guy asked me, what else would invalidate it for you? So for me personally, that would be one invalidation, a double supply zone. Another invalidation, for instance, would be if price is extremely far-fetched from its higher time frames MAs. So this is a little bit different now, and I'll talk about this in the future as well. But when price is this far-fetched away, I don't want to follow a lower time frame setup now, very likely on this time frame here. So if I'm using like a 15-minute, I likely don't want to take a trade now, because the likelihood is that price is going to rebalance itself and then start a new accumulation trend. And I'm going to wait for that rather than get involved. So those are my two basic invalidations that I personally use. One is a double supply zone of a higher time frame. The second is, where is the market in regards to the MAs, right? Have the MAs just been going straight up? If they have been, I don't really want to follow it anymore, because the likelihood is that we're going to get rebalanced price, is the way I think about it. The odds of prices continuing to stay hugely... Like, look at this. There's not a single time I can find here where price did this with the MAs and kept moving. Look, it did it once here, and then what did it do? It had to undergo a reset, new demand zone, then went up, right? Had to undergo a reset, then went up. Had to go on a reset, and then whatever, fucked off, right? Started to take off, and then failed down. So point being is, this is just something that I've personally noticed. So those are elements of invalidation that I'll also have when I just won't keep following a market at that given point. It's as simple as that. But the main thing is, yeah, just like this is a great example too. Okay, look at this. This is a phenomenal example. You have a demand zone created, right? You follow. Here, I'll draw it for you. You follow, it updates the high. You follow. What kind of zone is this? It's a demand zone. What type is it? Yep, exactly. So this is a type 4 demand zone. So at that point, we've created a type 4 demand zone with this candle. But again, this is the remastered course supply zone, demand zone, but the real zone for me was this one, because I'm just using the 2.0 of the higher time frame as well as the last unmitigated portion, right? And then look what happens. Prices make what type of supply zone is this that was created right here with this break? It's a type 4 as well, right? Updates the low. So there's a type 4 supply zone here. And look, does this look any similar to you than the previous thing we just looked at? Does it look similar to you guys? Does it look repetitive? The exact same thing or no? Yep. Price creates a supply zone. never creates another supply zone, hits the demand, off we go. And once again, you have endless numbers of people wondering why their initial change of characters here, their imbalances here, their confirmations here didn't work, and they get liquidated. Those are the clouds of liquidity. I hope you're seeing how everything that I teach, everything that I've ever taught is just a buildup of everything that we do, and it's just showcased over and over and over again. So those are some of the ways that I'll use to invalidate, and that's also how I use supply demand to invalidate or validate a given direction. And it also keeps you out of dog shit price action too. It's one of the tools that can keep you out of bad price action as well, which is very, very powerful, right? Yeah, so same thing happened here, right? Look at this. It made the demand zone, boom, type 4 demand zone, right? Then it made type 1 supply, and look what happened. Does anybody notice? The second it made a type 1 supply, what happened? It tapped into the demand. It doesn't have to, but it tapped into demand and blew the fuck up. Now, yeah, I wasn't able to participate. That's fine. That's part of the game. But it's the same exact thing. Demand zone into basically what we can call fake supply, or the fact that it's not a double supply because of the context. Clouds of liquidity, take them out. That's it. Over and over and over again. All right, let me go up now and continue reading through some of the stuff that's going on up here. Damn, it's getting cold in my office. What the hell? This is very helpful. I appreciate you, man. Okay, so here's where we were. I'm looking at the 11:02 a.m. chat, guys. Was just about to leave the house for a Starbucks. That's gonna have to wait till later. Glad I made it. Hey, let's go, Dan. What up, buddy? Got to get that Starbucks, bro. Better go grab that after. Hey, Anton, I finally made it to the Webby, but 2 a.m. just doesn't agree with me. I feel you, man. It's no worries. You can always catch the recording, but I appreciate you being here always. Absolute fire. The higher time from invalidation zones been testing all morning, keeps you out of some shit big time. Exactly, right? It's a simple way to add into any system that any of you have. If you're trading SSEs, double MBs, fractalized double MBs, if you're trading off of even imbalances, if you're here as a new member and you've been trading the dog shit that I don't like, but if you've been trading it, just this concept alone can already save you more trades and give you better prospects for prediction or for getting involved in clear price action. Just this concept alone of supply or demand zones in the direction of the trend you're looking at, and then using them as invalidations. That's it. What else are you planning for the remastered course? Oh my god. Oh my. We're only on S&Ds right now. The S&Ds are gonna transition into MBs. The MBs are gonna transition into understanding, why are we looking at MBs across timeframes and how those are functioning. That's gonna transition into models. That's gonna transition into context, and that's gonna transition to multi-time frame, etc. Right? Because that's what I teach. But that's never changed. So that's all the same thing. You guys should know that. And Australia won the cricket. Damn. People still play that game? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Beautiful transparency. You beastmen taught me so much already. I appreciate you, man. Well, yeah, I mean, there's no point not to be transparent about this specifically. Like, this is how you make money. You're never gonna make money if you don't understand this. It's as simple as that, right? And then if you go back to one of the things I've always spoken about, which is truly ask yourself what you need to survive. You stop thinking about the next car, the next vlogger, so you can be the next car vlogger and the next mansion and the next whatever the fuck it is. You guys are a lot more capable of becoming full-time traders than you think. It becomes kind of a joke once you've truly defined for yourself what you need in this moment. Now, some of you have a very different life to many others. Some of you have families and whatnot, so that number becomes a lot greater and different. However, a lot of you are also in a spot where if you define that for yourself, you start seeing what you actually need to do or what you actually need to be able to return on an account, and you go, holy shit, this is much more closer and much more doable in a much shorter amount of time than I might have thought initially. And that'll happen to you because it happened to me, right? When I sat down and I truly said, okay, what is my rent? Because I was living a long time ago, way back in the day when I was living in this little tiny little studio apartment, and it was so small and so trashy that there was like a mouse that comes out at night. At night, the mouse would come out, beep, 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 squeak, 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 squeak. It would go through my trash. I'd be like, oh, I'd be terrified, right? But during this time, my rent was $500 a month. My internet was like $50 a month. And food was like my biggest expense. So At around 1,200, 1,100 or less a month, I was okay. I could survive. And when I realized that literally, from a standpoint of percentage gain or RR gain on a 100K, 200K, 400K account meant fill in the blank, I was like, wait a fucking second. What the hell? This is a lot more. This is much more closer to what I can do than I actually thought. I don't need these millions at the moment. Okay, interesting, right? And all of a sudden, those are the things I focused on, and I got to be at home more often, which means I got to trade more often, watch more charts more often, and all of a sudden, holy shit, this is actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. But you need to go through that process with yourself. Truly ask yourself what you need, and then start to execute upon it. You'd be surprised what you're capable of, or what you actually can do right now with what you got. If you followed your system, they are good trades. Exactly. Can you zoom on the break-even US 100 trade? Can I zoom on it? Yeah, sure. So I entered right here, the buy stop. Then I had this. I honestly should have waited because it was not even clear. I didn't even see it. But at this point, I was like, okay, if it loses this trend, it'll probably be a loss. So I'll move to break even. So I moved to break even around here, around up here. I moved to break even. And then this day, news came out right here and it went boop and then took off. And then I was like, okay, thank you for your time, market. I love it. What do you think about GU? Like most XXX USD pairs right now, I think they are dog shit ugly. I think they're terrible. I've been bearish, relatively bearish, and it hasn't happened. It's just been moving bullish. This is one of those markets where you just have what I would expect to be back and forth price action. I see nothing on these. I see no consistency. I have no idea what it wants to do. It's in redistribution, but it's moving higher. It hasn't done a lower time frame anything. So if you were somehow able to catch the moves up here, good for you. I'm not one to look for like the multiple flips of like, oh, what's going on? I can figure it. Like, this has all been ugly. EU, GU, NZD, USD, AU, it's all like the same story. They're all going against what I want to see on them, so I simply have stayed away from them. You see these little green flags? Those are the only things I'm currently watching, with the exception of potentially GJ and UJ if it sets up. So I'll actually put those back on. But these have been my main watchers. All the XXX USD pairs right now are simply not acting like I want them to act, right? That's as far as that goes. So for me, all I do is I walk away from it. I don't have to sit there and force a potential market condition, a potential trade, a potential one-time predictor of the direction it's going to go. I don't care. I want to see clarity, right? What would I want to see right now? Well, I've been bearish on this, right? The weekly is in redistribution and still in redistribution, but look what it's doing. It's created demand. So what am I waiting for? At least on the weekly. So maybe 1 week, 2 week, create a down candle, and then boom. Now I'll trade it. So in about, I would say 3 to 5 weeks, we'll probably get a supply zone that I can start following. Because right now, I want to see bearishness, but it's moving bullish. And look at the rule of invalidation. You have demands coming in. I'm not going to be here. Have fun. Do what it needs to do. I'm going to sit on the sideline and wait. Yeah, like there's just nothing here for me. I think it's the same thing on GU, and like, but look at these up moves too. They're like very hard to even take advantage of unless you were somewhere inside of here and predicted that this was a stage 1 to move higher. If you did, then good for you. But for me, I'm looking for clarity, right? The more time I spend trading, the more time I spend teaching, the more all I'm doing is looking for a very, very clear market. Is US 100 clear to me? Yes, right? What's my daily telling me? That it wants to go bullish, right? Right now it's a little bit overextended, so I want to wait now for it to find a little bit of, maybe move back down, whatever. But right now it's still in demand zones to the top side, which is good, right? The 4 hour, what's it telling to me? It's telling me bullish. It told me it's gone sideways, whatever, and went into bullishness now, and that's in reaccumulation, so it's likely going to continue. What's my 1 hour telling me? The exact same thing. Can it go through distribution now? Yes, and then I can wait. Can it go, what's my 15 minute telling me? That it was bullish, and then I tried it a few times, and now it's entering a little bit of a stage 1, back and forth, potentially even distribution. Okay, now I can wait. But is there a general consensus, a general story that it's telling me? Yes. Can I wait for that story now? Yes, that's what I'm going to wait for. USD CAD, same exact thing. What has the general story of this thing been? That it wants to move long, right? It went from a weekly, super bullish, but we don't know when it wants to go bullish. But look at something interesting, guys. Supply zone's down, and look what happens here. It makes a demand zone. After this demand zone was created, can anyone tell me what price has been doing since that demand zone? It's been going up. So again, a phenomenal way to just create invalidation and points to follow. Another demand zone keeps going up. Now it's made a supply zone. But guess what this is now acting as, guys? I am happy to follow this market. It's telling me exactly what I want to see on it, right? And then if I step down lower and ask myself, are the other time frames confirming this? What's my daily? It's in reaccumulation. It's beautiful. What's my 4 hour or my 1 hour? It's in a little bit of back and forth, but it's coming in at the area that I wanted to see it come in at, which is that daily zone. Plus, it's starting to move long. That's accumulation. What's my time frame of entry telling me? Well, when I entered it, it was in stage 1 off of demand, and I entered the trade. It's as simple as that. I'm following the markets that are telling me what they want to do. It's just in front of you. It's like they're screaming it, right? Because for me, I know my best prospect of making money is if I'm just with the trend. This is what looking for or being with the trend looks like, right? So now I just get to be and participate in these moves. EG, same thing. Extremely bullish. I've been watching it for bullishness. I actually had a long set up right here on it, but then it was Friday, so I canceled it, and you can see it just failed. It didn't even validate it, but it failed, and now I'm waiting again. Because now this market's like just doing back and forth again. Wait for accumulation, wait for it to come in, blah, 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 blah. Wait for it to reset ICI, and I'm in, right? I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for clarity and simplicity. I'm not interested in looking for like the odd one out. The odd one out on GU where it's like, okay, here I go. The daily is in potential redistribution or accumulation. The 1 hour is in accumulation, but it's super sloppy, but maybe it's an accumulation. 15-minute. Oh, I don't know, but I'm gonna follow. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and do that. It's worthless to me. On a lower time frame, I would say that the 1 hour and 15-minute are showing bullishness. So if you're trading a 1 minute, then you can be bullish. If you were bullish on GU all week on a 1 minute, props goes to you. There's phenomenal trades here. Good trades, good trades, good trades, good trades, good trades, good trades, potential good trade. And now you'd be waiting for another potentially good trade, right? Those are fine. But if you're trading like a 15-minute, then these are not contexts that I'm going to be at all watching because, well, they're against each other. So it's very important to define the time frames you're working on, right? So like Stan, if you're working at a 1 minute and you're taking longs based on the 1 hour, 15-minute, and 1 minute context, I applaud you. You're doing the right thing. You should be trading this market. This is a beautiful market, right? This is a beautiful market to be following on those time frames. But other than that, if you're trading like a 15-minute and you're looking for this kind of trade, you know, it'll come once in a blue moon, but the rest of the time you're taking sloppy losses or sloppy action. So I'm not going to get involved in that, right? Anton, why did you take longs in a distribution model on US 100? One, because the 15-minute is not my end-all be-all, and higher timeframes matter to me too, and I use multiple timeframe contexts. So this was simply, for me, a potential stage 1 accumulation, and most recently, that one breakdown wasn't enough to signify that price wanted to move down, and as it built up this ICI, I was willing to take it. Simple as that. Especially with the 1 hour being in, as you can see here, a clear reaccumulation, right? Move higher, 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 break down once, forming demand zones. I'm going to follow this long. I'm probably this week, if this can start to set up again to the top side and validate another maybe demand zone, I'll be taking this thing long this week. Hopefully we can get into a more nicer pattern like this and then start moving long, right? But I'll probably be watching this because this is in clear market conditions for me personally for a long. Same trade. I took 10 RR in that. The UCAD. Yeah, this was beautiful. If you were here on a lower time frame too, even more beautiful, right? This 15-minute is perfect. Perfection, right? And then if you just waited again, look. Wait for a type 1. Here's your demand zone. Look what happens. It makes a supply zone. You stop watching it. Makes a new demand zone, type 4, right there. You start watching it again right here. If you watch for anything 1 minute here or here, so let's circle that. Because again, you can go and test this now. There should be a phenomenal trade in there, probably, on both times. So again, take a look here first. So let's see what we got. So price comes down. I would say this is a fine long. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. This long is fine. So you take that long. Okay, so it moves around, takes a loss. Then it makes that supply zone. You wait. Makes a new demand zone. Let's see where I circled it. Okay, makes a new demand zone. So you wait for an entry. That's a great ICI. You take the long over the ICI, right? You're in that thing. Is that it? Oh yeah, there you go. Right, and then that's probably where you got your 1 to 10 based on your management, right? Yeah, easy. This goes to like 1 to 20. Oh wait, even more, right? No, that's it. Yeah, so 1 to 20. So again, the exact same rules, the exact same setups and whatnot, but just using a different time frame. So for Hyper, I'm guessing he took something like that, or maybe he took something elsewhere. Because there's so many entries. Look at this. There was that entry, which we just looked at. Then there was, for me personally, I would say there's, actually, these are not that good. Maybe this one, maybe this one. And then it fails, but there probably would have been a trade around here. Would be a loss. And then I would not follow. Maybe this one here is really nice too. I would say this one was, nah, it's too wide. I would say this one is potentially a tradable one. Yeah, so you have a few opportunities here. You have a ton of 1 minute opportunities on the way up, right? Hyper could have taken any one of these and made his entire week or month or yearly salary on that, right? It's just the exact same rules, just used on a lower time frame. All right, let me get rid of those now. Let me get rid of those. Just want to remind you guys, again, it really depends. So the markets you're looking at really depend on the time frames you're looking at too, right? So the guy that asked about GU, if he's a 1 minute trader and he was looking for longs, I commend him. If he's a 15 minute or 30 minute trader and he's looking for longs on GU or looking for a market condition there, I'm like, dude, what are we? It's iffy. Why are we doing that, right? My equity curve looks so similar. Yeah, beautiful. Exactly. Good systems will oftentimes have similar curves in regards to what they do. It'll definitely usually be in accumulation, stage 1, or reaccumulation, and moving higher. That's it. Good curves go higher over time. It's as simple as that. Going through 6 months of price action with 3 minute only entry on 5 minute, equity curve move far away from expectation. Beautiful. 1 week in this training, so good. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Good to have you here. Do you count a break even as a loss for your equity curve? No. But I can. Right? And we can see if it's still profitable. I mean, I don't want to actually replace them all. But it's going to be profitable no matter what. But yes, of course. Like, again, I spoke about this on the Wednesday video, which you can actually see right here, the premium workshop one. But I spoke about this. You guys might remember. I literally said break-evens are one of the best things ever. Look how many break-even trades there are. 11. So technically, if this was 11% less, would I be okay? Yeah, I'd still would have made like 69%, 70% because I'm 0.75% risk. But at the same time, what I said is those break-evens also save me money, right? Those break-evens, just taking the break-evens, just managing the break-evens, let me go to Disneyland with my family, right? It paid for it, to put it simply, right? Because break-evens are their own form of you making money. Staying out is its own form of making money. Your patience is its own form of making money. Just your wins and losses are not their own forms of making money. Because again, most people, when they show up to markets, are there to become the market and not trade it or take their edge out of it, right? I kind of spoke about this where most people show up and they're like, what's the market going to do today? I will be one with the market. I will feel the market. My emotions are there. I read Mark Douglas's book, Trading in the Zone. So now I know that I am one with the market. And here I go. It's coming off of there. I'm buying. It's going down. I'm selling. I'm one with the market. And it's like, it makes no sense because they're randomly doing things, trying to predict the direction of the market every single day instead of taking their edge out of it. And I'm simply there waiting. And my waiting, as well as my managing, is what allows me to make more money, right? Number of trades divide number of RR. I was going to ask why it was a shit show because I thought it was great. Oh no, I had a phenomenal time. I think that it was a beautiful, beautiful webinar workshop, and I think that a lot of people that were completely free members learned a fuck ton, and I hope they did. That's not the reason it was a shit show. The shit show just came from the fact that when you do things publicly for free and with a lot of people, oh my god, it can get hectic, right? I couldn't get in, tried 15 minutes before oh yeah, we went over that. Beforehand, they were playing your vids pretending they was you saying, hello, hello, can you hear me? Oh, that's funny. Anton, thanks for your mentorship these past 6 months. Grateful for my personal growth and ready to buy the Ment Funding evaluation after putting in the work. Appreciate the insider code. A quick question. Does the code have an expiration date? Yes, the 22nd. What are your break-even rules, Anton? When price has moved in such a way from an initial burst momentum perspective that coming back to the price of entry would seem like a loss of momentum, I'll move to break even. Or if price reaches 1 to 3 RR or more. So usually if price reaches 1 to 3 RR or more, I don't think something that's up 3x your initial risk should ever become a -1. That's just kind of a rule I have in my head. So for me, if it's up like 3 RR or more, I'll move to break even. Or if it's moved in a way that coming back to break even or coming back to the price of entry would seem like a lost momentum, right? So like for instance, if I entered a trade right here, right, and then it starts moving, for it to come back to that level at that point, right, because that would not be 1 to 3 RR yet. For it to come back, I don't know, I'd have to draw like a little line, but like for it to come back would still be okay, right? So maybe you move to half risk. So I'd probably still take a loss fully here if I took this trade. But in some cases, if it reached even higher, then for it to come back like so would be a complete loss of the initial momentum, and then I would move to break even, right? The first webinar, but been following for almost 2 years. Holy shit. What's up, Jonathan? Really happy to have you here today, man. Thanks for the insane support from just following for 2 years. That's absolutely nuts. Would be happy with half that, to be honest. There you go. So now you know. Now you know what you can do if you just simply take your losses in style. I don't know if I could make a living off of 400K a year. Buddy, that's not a year. That's since August, okay? Remember, this is what I showed. And again, you can manipulate these to fit what you're doing, right? So if some of you are just considering a 200K account, right, and you're doing so at 0.5% risk, okay? Since August, given my curve, you would have made about 94K. That's about, what is that? August, 8, 9, 10, 11. So about 2.5 months, 3 months. A lot of you would be more than happy with that. And a lot of you, even a quarter, even a fucking sixth, a tenth of that, a lot of you would be really happy with. 10K in 3 months for some people is fucking absurd. For some people to consider that, to be able to do that, is out of this world. And I know that because I was one of those people. And I know that because in other countries, that number on its own is just, it's astronomical, right? But it's just a reminder that based on who you are, where you are, what your life kind of looks like, you need to define for yourself what you actually need and then begin to work towards that, because again, you're capable of a lot more than you think you are. And if you have your system, you have your rules, holy shit, the kind of things you can do for yourself is unbelievable, okay? Unbelievable. I will be joining the formal complaint regarding the 12 p.m. EST. That's funny. What platform do you use for the journal? This is an Excel spreadsheet right here. Dalen loves the 1 minute. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Over time, you're going to learn not to care about the time frame. Over time, you actually probably start to hate the 1 minute if you grow your account large enough. But yeah, exactly. Like it really doesn't matter. All time frames are the same thing. You'll understand that as you get better as a trader. It's just a function of what makes the most sense for you as a person right now. And, you know, back in the day, what made sense for me as a person, functionally, because I was in front of the computer all day long, I was also running the mentorship and everything. It's like, I'll just be in front of my computer all the time and trade the super low time frame because, you know, I don't have the capital to trade a higher time frame anyway right now. So I'd be a little crackhead, as you guys know. You guys saw that. But it's all the same thing over time. You'll all notice that. I've been backtesting on GU from June till now, and using the higher time frame invalidation points really helps not getting back involved till you see demand come back into the market is fire. Yeah. If you simply add that to your entire rule set of just waiting for a higher time from demand or supply based on the direction you're looking for to be validated, oh my gosh, it's just insane. Is there a roadmap or ETA for the new remastered material? The S&D section really clicked for me, excited for what's coming. Sadly, the good news is that it's so good that, yeah, it will make amazing clicks for you, but on the downside, I have no ETA for it because I put it out as I work out how I want to present it. So no, I have no ETAs on that. But again, everything that is taught there is a form of what has been taught forever, right? And I'll continue to teach, as you can see. I use on a 1 minute and a 5 second. Very powerful. Exactly. Those are mastered videos. Changes the game for me. Learning type 1 to 5 is a must. There you go. The flush out reaccumulation is the best thing to look for on a 1 minute. Yeah, it's really good on all time frames, right? It's really good on all time frames, but especially on a 1 minute because, again, there's so much price action on a 1 minute that if you just look for this in a bullish market, you will almost always see it happen on a 1 minute every single day on any one given market, which means that you can get an opportunity every day. And like I showed you guys on that US 100 example, right, where we took 2 trades in 7 hours, we took 1 loss, 1 win, we ended up with over 1.6 RR gain, right? And again, that might not sound like anything crazy, but again, if you're trading a 100K account and you make 1.6 RR in 1 day at 1% risk, that puts you at $1,600 earned. Is that more than what you would have ever wanted or needed in a potential month? And some of you, the answer is yes, which then begs the question, why aren't we working towards having this full-on system that we can now start to execute very simply on like a 100K account, a 200K account, a 50K account, to start being able to do this full time so that you can focus on the shit that matters to you, right? Meant, when do you use the 10MA? Not at all really anymore. I like the 20 and 50. They just do the work for me, you know? 3 were just too much for me. Why do you use the 1 hour demand zone in regards to your 15-minute entry? Just cause. No crazy reason. If anything, I should probably even use a higher one. So I should probably be using a 8-hour one or a 6-hour one. So really like maybe a 6-hour. Like I should be probably waiting for a 6-hour demand zone. So for instance, right now, right, you have a demand zone that just formed right here. There's your type 1 demand, and you only have 1 supply zone, right? You have this type 4 supply zone. So what is this creating, guys? Can anyone see what's being created right now? Right? So what's UCAD likely to do, right? You guys know why I'm looking bullish. I've been bullish on this thing forever. There's a big reason for it. This is how money is created. This is how true liquidity is engineered. This is what true liquidity engineering actually looks like. It's not this weird shit of like, here we go, we got little low, and little low, and little low, and we got a little bloop, and a little bloop, and we'll go bloop, 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 bloop. There we go. Right? It just makes no sense. This is what true liquidity engineering looks like. This is how people get liquidated. They want to look like through all this crazy shit when in reality, it's just, you know, most traders, and yeah, like I'm probably going to take a stop loss and I might be wrong, but most traders are seeing this and go, oh my God, it's a break character change, but go short. We're going to go short all week. We got to take out the low and the low, right? And the likelihood is that even if I get taken out, it's probably just going to do that. And I'm going to try and be getting involved again right here on my lower time frame. Because again, the market is telling me what it wants to do. It's in front of me. If on the other hand, it comes up, makes a candle up, and then comes down, I'll stop watching it. Why? Supply. That's 2x supply. I can walk away until what? Until new demand comes in, and now I can follow it again, or until it just fails off, and then I don't have to follow it at all. It's as simple as that. The market can do whatever it wants to do. I won't give a shit because I have specific rules that I'm waiting for. This shows that there is no need to FOMO, just waiting and finding good setups and trades. Yep, exactly. Would you take an ICI that isn't at the top of the range, but quite a decent amount of imbalance right under your entry level? Sure. Wanted to check out new premium indicator. MetaFX bot says there's issues adding it to my TradingView account. When it's going to be fixed? Yeah, I already answered that. Yeah. You know what's up. Anton, why did you take... Oh, we went over that. We went over all that. Very good. Can you consider this type 1 like a reaccumulation on lower time frame? Yup, exactly. This is like a reaccumulation of a lower time frame, right? You have money moving long, and it's just broken down once. Again, this is showing you a fractal reaccumulation. That's why this system is so powerful. And just one supply is not enough to stop watching, and right now it's coming into demand. Like, I honestly... I mean, yeah, it can do whatever, but honestly, I would love for this thing to open, gap up here, you know, play around a little bit, and then boom, boom, boom. This would just be beautiful, right? It would just bring happiness to my eyes, right? And then you'd have everyone, you know, all the good traders looking for specific things in certain areas, right? This would be phenomenal. Mini gap up, go sideways, but again, you know, it can do anything. I don't know. The price can do anything, but there are specific things in price that happen over and over and over again, and those are the things that I'm going to follow instead of just randomizing what I do every day and hoping that it works out. What if the double supply happens within demand and holds the low? I don't care. The double supply invalidates it, and you wait for new demand. That's it. Just a simple rule. Hi, I recently joined. Where can I find demand supply types? That's in the remastered. But again, so for people that are brand new, guys, always remember this. You go into welcome, you watch this, you read the handbook. That's step one across the board, okay? I put a lot of time into writing that just so you understand like what you're actually walking into. Because for the first time, as I love to say, you are walking into a place where you're actually going to learn, but actually learning means that there's going to be some shit to go through, right? It's not going to be like, here, watch the 1 hour video, you know, now go get funded. Good luck. Have fun, you know, whatever. Pay me $1,000. Give me 2,000. Yeah, make it 5,000, whatever. You know, you're going to sit here and you're going to learn, and you're going to pay a cheap price for it, but you're also going to get a fuck ton of really good tools. From that point, it's possible just to buy stop the double MB and it would be great. Yep. It's just the same thing over and over. Yep. Anton, open your door. I got you a coffee. I'm outside. Okay, relax. Hey, man, backtesting ICI, I was wondering if you could give an example of money coming into the market and the difference between a reset and a flush. A little confused. A reset would be a blueprint going through, and a flush, reaccumulation or big impulse to opposite direction. Yeah, that's a good answer. So also I'll give you a great answer there. Hey, my man, Anton, everyone, what's up, man? Are orange news important? Not at all. I don't care. I only worry about red news for the simple things outlined throughout the entire course, right? But the reality is, the less you can focus on news whatsoever, the more you can just completely ignore it, the better. Meant, don't you dare roast cricket. Sorry, guys. Sorry. You bringing Christmas to us a little bit early with the new course sauce? Ayy. Triple M. Got a little, what is this? How do I open it? Open. There we go. Janvier. Février. Nice. Cool language. Mars. Interesting. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is phenomenal, dude. It's beautiful. See what we got here? 1% equity risk. Yeah, great. Let's up it up. Let's go 2 mil, 0.3%. Oh yeah. Looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, dude, this is phenomenal. I would of course add photos. I think it's really bad you don't have photos unless they're hidden here. Doesn't look like they are. I would 100% add photos because you are going to want to go back and look at your photos. You're always going to want to go back and be able to, because again, a photo is all it takes for you to potentially change a huge part of your system while maintaining big profitability. I can simply go like this and say, what is it that I did here? Do my setups look like this still? Or am I refining to a better place, right? I can go and ask myself these questions because I have those things recorded. What were the contexts of that play? If anything, you should even be taking multiple time frame photos so you're just used to it. But yeah, make sure you take those photos, dude. Which MA do you watch for price to come back to? I don't watch for it to come back to any MA. Again, MAs are there for a sense of how it's moving, but usually 20 and 50. Anton is terrified of mice. I am. I fucking hate mice. Question about journaling. When I input my trades into Clara's journal, am I journaling every entry, even if another entry is within your first trade? If that makes sense. Or do you let your first trade play all the way out? This is up to you. I'd probably just do them independently. So let the first one play out. But if one is up like over 10 or 20 RR, you can also journal the next one, because for you, you might know, even right now, that you're not going to be holding each trade to 10 RR unless there's a trailing rule, right? Dan says, waiting for the money to come into the markets when I was looking at it from a triple M perspective, or what's now known as S&D types, was the only way I found profitability personally. Otherwise, I just ended up getting stuck within a lot of stage one without realizing it until after. Love how it's now been advanced within the webinar 127, and it's crazy seeing the added value you've brought to my own results within 127/S&D Remastered alone. So thank you as always. Well, Dan, thank you as well, sir. That's very sweet of you. But yeah, exactly, right? So personally for Dan in his system, he didn't find major success until he had a way to create some form of invalidation. And now I've probably even given him a better way to have invalidation. So he probably even moved from triple M's on a higher time frame to likely demand types or double supplies against, all right? So double supply or demand against price, or one in regards to price. So like in this scenario here, he's on a 5 minute. So maybe for him, he'll be using a What's 5 times 30? 5, 10, 50, 150. So that's like 2-hour chart. So he might be using a 1-hour chart or a 1 hour 30-minute chart, maybe a 90-minute chart. Maybe he'll be crazy. He'll go 90-minute chart. And for him, simply, he'll look at this and say, okay, there's 2 supply zones down, right? Clearly, supply, supply. So he'll be waiting for this. He'll set an alert. And now, okay, I can't do that because of that, whatever. He'll set an alert, and now he'll wait for price to break above, create a demand zone, and then he'll start following lower time frame trades. And already, without even needing to do the triple M stuff or anything like that, he has a way to see money coming in now, right? That could be his entire system, 1.5 hours, right? As his higher time frame. So that's what I kind of want to do is I bring these kind of things to you guys. Hello, Anton. Please, can you little bit explain how to look at ATR in premium and structure? No special way. If you take an entry, for me personally, anytime I take an entry on a given time frame, I look here, and I don't want my stop to be double this ever. So double this is about 0.004. So if my stop has to be here, 0.004, just like that, I don't want to take it. If it can be less than that, so if I take a long here, if it can be less than that, maybe I can protect this low, I'm happy. That's it. I just want, that's it. It's simply an RR metric. It's simply looking at the average move that prices make and saying, okay, I don't want to be taking risk on double the average move because then I'm likely not taking out edge. I'm just hoping that price goes in a direction. At some point, you realize that the mouse is just a kid on a smaller time frame. Okay. What? This may be a dumb question, but when do we let go of an invalidation zone and use another newer demand supply invalidation zone? When it's created, if you want. But again, that also depends on ranges, right? So like if there's a type 1 here, I'm not going to likely use this one because we're in this range, the higher time frame range, right? That's why structures come in handy. But again, that's something you will learn as you continue moving through the course. Why didn't you do what every other young guy does and live in your mom's basement? Or didn't you want to be living there in my mom's basement meme? Because my family was across the world in a different country. And I could not do that. If Ment wore a hat, I would assume there's some type of Ratatouille situation going on here. You guys are so fucking... What are you saying? I can imagine how nervous you were on that break even on US 100 because the same happened to me on gold in May. I wasn't nervous, but it sucked. That's all it did. I don't get nervous in trading. I get depressed, happy, but I don't get nervous. Euro USD could be a 3-day reaccumulation, 12-hour bullish SSC cluster, 4-hour accumulation, 1-hour blueprint. Yeah, it could be anything. But right now, again, remember the simple tool that we have access to. Right? Remember, here's NAS, for instance. What is it telling you? Here's the JPY pairs, for instance. What are they telling you? Okay? Here's my USD CAD. What is it telling you? Here's Euro USD. What is it telling you? Yeah, it's telling you some bullishness, but there's clear disconnect. What's GU telling you? The same thing. What's NZD USD telling you? The complete opposite of EU and GU. Right? What's AU telling you? The same as NZD USD. So like, where is my XXX USD pairs going? I don't fucking know. I'd rather stay out of potential inconsistency. If anything, I'd be looking for shorts here and on here because these are at least very, very one-sided. So if I look at that, I go NZD USD is probably going to be in a bearish bias that I can follow. Let's see if it is, right? So you have a market that's generally moving short, 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 in redistribution moving short, and most recently it created a type 1 supply. So if anything, I'd be following this thing short now. You jump to a 1 hour to prove it. This thing is in like, just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I don't see clarity. Yeah, it's starting a potential distribution here. So do we have some kind of type 1 I can work with? It made a demand zone. And now it's making a demand zone here. Or did it make one? Yeah, it made one. So there's actually double demand zone here. So if anything, I'm looking for a 1 hour to make a supply zone. Okay? And then on a 15 minute Or not a 1 hour, like a 1.5 hour, right? Or like a 2 hour, or 6 hour is fine too. It doesn't matter. Like, you can do whatever works for you. For me, it's usually been 1 hour. But like even the oh, that's 6 minutes. Sorry. There we go. So 6 hour supply made a little bit of demand. So yeah, you can maybe start following this, but is it showing me bearishness? No, not at all. This could be redistribution, maybe. Again, as I'm looking at this, all I'm thinking is I'm talking in questions, right? If I'm talking in question marks when I'm looking at a market, the likelihood is that I should not be following it, right? Can I? If that's happening in any scenario, I'm out of it. When I go to US 100, what am I looking for? If it makes a bullish SND, do I want to follow this? Yes. Should I follow it on a lower time frame if the stage 1 is there? Yes. If it's moving long, should I follow it? Yes. Right? There's no question marks in my in what I'm doing. USD CAD, what can it do? If it starts making bullish moves, would I get involved in it? Yes. Is it moving in a clear bullish way? Yes. Do I want to get involved in it? Yes. It could maybe go up, it could maybe go down if it makes... Again, the second you start asking questions like that, you should probably tell yourself, there's likely something here that's not clear. And for me, that's all it is, right? So yes, you could pinpoint specific timeframes into a decent context, and if that works for you, great. But for me, as I look at it, I don't see it. I just don't see it, right? Because again, what's my weekly saying? Potential redistribution with double demand up. So if anything, John, if I was to even consider following this thing, right, to at least a short side, I need to see some kind of supply zone down. If anything right now, honestly, yeah, a long could be okay, right? But I don't know. I don't like it. Maybe if it comes back down into this SSC or the MB, then starts to make a type 1 accumulation, stage 1, and then starts moving long, I would then potentially start to follow at least to a high. But right now, potential overextended on daily, moving away from upwards moving MAs, weekly already double S&D just moving long. It's maybe, I don't know. Could it do this? Yes. Am I going to follow that? No, I'm not interested. I'll wait until something clear happens. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Straight up into like a kind of a setup, just weird and just moving straight up again. Like, what am I going to do? Like, there's nothing for me to touch here. My eyes can't see it. If I'm asking myself 15 million questions about whether or not I should follow it, I probably shouldn't, right? Good morning, Anton. I hope you're doing fine. I'm so happy I joined on time because my system is coming to an end of being ready. Regarding what you talked about, is this a good example of having a 1 hour S&D plus waiting for the break and alignment of price and then waiting for my model on the 1 minute to enter a trade? Let's see. Euro GPY, probably a bullish pair, I'm guessing. It's moving bullish. Was moving bullish, kind of a reaccumulation. Rebroke bullish, broke bullish again. Potential reaccumulation, but breaking down twice. From there, demand zone, demand zone, demand zone. So could start following it. It could be okay for bullishness. It's a little bit iffy, but it's not too bad. Already, you should hear in my voice that my voice is already more supportive of Euro JPY than it is of EU. Right? There's a reason that's happening. Can I just open this? There we go. Okay, so we go to a lower time frame. That was your initial intermediate MB. If price breaks under this box, I don't care about this one too much. Starts moving long. Beautiful reaccumulation reset. Yeah. I mean, you long through inside of here, which is just ballsy as shit, but if that's your system, that's fine. Yeah. This trade is fine. Even like this entry, both are good. I see this as a fine entry. Yeah, it looks okay. Nothing wrong with this. Sure. And then, so I would guess that the 1 hour is actually a photo that's late term. So this is like the 19th right here. And then this is, I can't see. Okay, so that's fine. But I'm guessing your entry was somewhere around here, which means that at the time, it was moving in beautiful, beautiful context. It was making demand zones validated to the top side. It's in a reaccumulation potentially. It's with an upsloping 20 MA, so you have at least that by your side. It's heading towards a 50, not being hit off of it. The lower time frame is moving in a clear stage 1 into stage 2, and you're entering only after the stage 2 is undergoing reaccumulation. Yeah, this is phenomenal. This is a great trade. I see nothing wrong with this. Yep, it's good. It's good. Is the premium structure working now? It should be, but it should be working later this week. I will make an update if it is. Again, you should be able to go. Well, give me some time to set it all up, but it should be working. Yes. Do you expect price to move differently around the holidays, Thanksgiving? Same thing as always. There's going to be contexts that are fine to trade. There's going to be other contexts that are not. Likely, with holidays come more illiquid markets. You're still going to have moves in some areas, but likely, if you start entering more of sideways action, which is what a lot of the XXX USD pairs seem like they're doing, very sideways action into mini moves. This is like a Bitcoin kind of thing, right? Where you're getting a lot of sideways into one move here and there. Then I probably wouldn't participate. Right now, I don't see anything wrong. US 100 looks good. UCAD looks good. So I'll keep following those. But yeah, there's likelihood that as more holidays come around, more illiquidity happens and we'll take a step back. But right now, I see nothing wrong with following this. GU 15-minute reaccumulation looks okay, though. Does it? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Looks ugly to me. Breaks up, breaks down, breaks up, breaks up, breaks down, breaks up. I mean, it's a lot of back and forth. It's hard to tell that this was going to be a reaccumulation. 1 hour was chopping kind of up a little bit. But yeah, it made a type 1 demand. And then you could follow that through. And if you got involved in it around here, then that would probably be the only opportunity on a 15-minute that was good. Everything before that was pretty shit, right? There was like this opportunity maybe in here that then made a move, and then this one here, right? Other than that, yeah, I don't really see anything. Actually, yeah, if you enter this as a 15-minute, you're okay. But again, the context of it makes me not want to look at it because, again, remember, there's going to be ICIs that do work and will work every single day. But the question is it within a market context, a good context, and is it a move that can continue to sustain itself? And for me, this is just a no at the moment. So I'm just going to ignore it. That validation/invalidation S&D are awesome, Anton. I started using them for my trading plan and I love them. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. When do you use a 10MA? I don't. To make your entry confirmation, what's a way you'd make one? Don't understand that question. Try again. Oh, so like how'd you make your own entry confirmation? Because I use 4 hour, I need a confirmation for a lower time frame, I need an entry for every zone. Okay, try to, maybe, I think English might not be your first language, which is okay, but try to rephrase that in a way that makes a little bit more sense. From what I understand, you're asking how do you make a confirmation? You use any of the ones that I teach. Triple M entries, fractalized double MBs, ICIs. All of them are prevalent, happen on every time frame, and are potentially good entries. How was Disneyland? It was amazing. We had a phenomenal time. We mainly went for my daughter, and she fucking loved it. So that was very good. Shout out to Disney. Hi, can I share the workshop with a friend who could not make it? He is not a member. Sure. But tell him to sign up for the insider list. Just joined. What did I miss? The best webinar of all time. Buy a 100K, trade successfully, buy a million account, my plan. There you go. Could you please look at GU? Yep. Already have. What happened to the guy in Ment Funding saying watch 5 your trust pilot in 5 days? Oh, I don't know. Whatever. Hey man, backtesting ICI. I was wondering if you could give examples of money coming into the market and there's oh, we went over that, I think. Someone else answered with that. I struggle with this as well. A flush is a small correction, but structure holds, or reset is a reaccumulation. It can be both. I don't really care. It can be into a reaccumulation or just a larger flush out. That's it. I just want to see that there's selling that came in that now we can overpower again. I love that. Should be a new meme. I hate the 1 minute because I hate making so much money. I use a 2-minute based on rule of 30 for 1 hour. Yeah, that's fine. What do you use a 50MA for? Most setups I've seen trade MetaFX ideas are interacting with the 20, and I feel like 50 is just there most of the time. I just like to see the way it's heading and how it's moving. Usually I want to enter my trade when it's just churning sideways or up, or as it's already moving up. So you are not using the 10MA anymore to measure short term? No, I don't really do the short term. Hey Anton, how would you have traded euro dollars 1 minute price action on Friday? All those time frames are bullish. The 5 minute is double MB, but the 1 minute spent a while chopping around. Well, there's a reason for that, right? What have I said about EU before I even looked at it? I know that it's dog shit. I haven't looked at it for a while for a reason, right? How would you trade a 1 minute? You'd wait for clarity on a 50-minute or 30-minute in terms of demand coming in and then follow it. So on what day? On Friday. So that would be here. Okay. Price opens, comes down, makes a demand zone. But that's happening within what context? Where's my replay mode so we can see the context? Right here. Okay. What's it happening within? General distribution. So we wait for money to come in because there's really nothing to do until money comes in if you're trading long and you're looking for that. Okay. Prices start to unredistribute. It could still be redistribution, but it's doing a little bit of potential non-redistribution. So a lot of back and forth. So it could be stage one. Take a look at a 30-minute. Take a look at what we got. 30-minute is in potential distribution right now with a lot of back and forth. So you could probably wait for one of those to break long. So you'd be waiting. Breaks long. Okay. Nothing really to do here. For me, at least. I'd be waiting. Starts making a supply zone, but nothing really to touch. Does that make another supply zone? No. Makes a demand zone. Okay. Nothing to touch. Don't really see any reason to follow this. Breaks long again. Breaks short again. Nothing to touch. Starts moving back and forth. Creates a supply zone here. And that's it. So again, has a good chance to move long, but hasn't made even a demand zone yet. Maybe even wait for a demand zone. Okay, makes a demand zone. What's the 30-minute doing now? 30-minute is in potential reaccumulation. A lot of back and forth. Made the bullish MB. Yeah, this could follow through for a little bit of a move. Don't see why not. As this part of reaccumulation, sure. Has a 50-minute done something clear for me to actually use? Yeah, it made a type 2 or a type 3 demand zone just now, right here. So I could probably start following this on a 1 minute if it makes a setup. What time is it now? 10 a.m. on a Friday. Again, it's a Friday, so you probably don't want to trade it, but if this can set something up, we can take it. Price starts moving, not much to touch. Price comes back, starts making a reaccumulation. Potential ICI inside of there. It's okay. Don't see anything clear just yet. Yeah, potential ICI, but just playing around a lot. Likely reaccumulation comes down. Starts holding demand. See if it wants to build up a nice accumulation here to go long. Watching for a clear ICI. Way above price, so don't really want to touch it. What time is it? 12, so we still maybe get a trade. Way too far above the MAs is what I want to see. Okay, so coming into some kind of ICI inside of here. Good long through that high potentially. That'd probably be the first one I would consider taking. I played it a little bit too fast, but that's probably the first one. ATR of 1.6. So 1.6 puts you around here. Yeah, that's okay. I'd probably take that. Watch for break even. Move to break even. Yeah, you could probably move to break even now. Do we hold this? We do hold this. Watch for taking the first partial, probably right under here. Okay, keeps moving. Watch for the first partial, probably here. Okay, keeps moving. Watch for the first partial, probably around here. Okay, keeps moving. Watch for the first partial, probably around here. Okay, keeps moving. Watch for the first... Well, now it's huge strength, so I'll probably move my first partial under this low. Okay, take your first partial off at 10.56, so secure plus 5.25 RR. Leave the rest to trail with this MB. We'll just put it at this MB. See if it wants to keep going or not. Reaccumulation. Hopefully this holds now. Starts holding. Move your stop loss with this one. Mix another MB. Move your stop loss with that one. See if some more crazy price action comes in. Move your stop loss again. What time are we at here? Almost market close. So I would probably say close now or hold over weekend. We'll just do whatever. Keep moving with the MBs. It gets stopped out at the end of the week at 12.75, which puts you at plus 6.35. And you just made 12 RR. Yeah, congratulations. right? Again, have rules, follow the rules. That's all I did here. Waited for something that made sense, allowed the invalidation to be created, then followed it. Notice how I stayed out of the wiki price action. I followed the models, right? Does everyone follow what I just did as I walked you through that? Thanks for reviewing Friday's EU. I started looking at the 1 minute earlier in the session based on the 15-minute break long, but you were much more cautious before stepping down. Of course, because well, look at this price action, right? This was, remember, back here, this was still in redistribution or potential redistribution, and then it made its way away and started moving long. So I'm waiting for something clear, and then all of a sudden it begins to do whatever the fuck this is with multiple supply zones down that then get overpowered as demand, and now the 30-minute, 50-minute agree, and that's when I started watching the 1 minute. And at that point, we waited for it to set up. And then, well, you just passed a full evaluation in one trade. And that's how it's done. And again, more opportunities are like this are available every day on a 1 minute because it's a 1 minute. Like, just a lot more availability of price to potentially move and move and move and move. Comes down to the same things, but you need to be aware of, you know, like, again, for me, for you guys, as I do this, it might look really simple. Like, this probably looked very easy, but again, the reason it is like that is because I've taken the time to learn what I do. A lot of you would have probably been entering trades where? A lot of you might have been taking trades here and 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 here. In here, in here, in here, in here, in here. And again, there might not be something wrong with that. Many of you might actually be profitable doing that. This was actually also a good trade right here. John. So if you didn't trade this one, this was also a great trade from my personal perspective. But again, the reason I can make it look so fucking simple now is because I've spent so much time testing every single move like this that I'm like, okay, which ones am I willing to trade and what do they need to look like every time I do, right? What is the context that it has to be in? What kind of MBs are being created? What kind of models are we moving within? Is it choppy? Is it not choppy? And then I'll get involved, right? So, yeah. Go get funded. Use this system. Go get your golden names, guys. Anton, have you ever gotten into a physical fight and did you win? He beat up a JP Morgan guy once to get a sentiment viewer up, so yeah. That's the only time. If you ever depressed, just DM me. I'll make you happy again if you know what I mean. No idea what you mean, but okay. Oh, okay, well, there you go, yeah. If a lot of people are short, then EU's probably long, right? But again, I don't use this. I look at the markets, personally. I'm not really interested in like this. I told you guys, I don't use the sentiment of my FX book. Yeah, exactly, like, and there's still disagreement, right? So again, everything's disagreed upon, which is why I don't follow it. I'm good. I'm good on that EU. Unless you're a 1 minute trader, then great, right? There's great opportunity here. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, a 1 hour and a 15 minute, right, from a higher time frame basis are in fine context for longs. Right now, I wouldn't trade a 1 minute right now, of course. Right now, if you're trading a 1 minute, so John, this goes to you and all of you other 1 minuters, right? I would wait for now, what? For price to do some kind of move down, maybe even a reaccumulation, start putting in a type 1 to 4 demand zone, and then start following it up again to the next high. Because right now, you're overextended. This is a move that now either you are managing for bigger explosions or you wait for the sideways. Because again, that's how markets move. Markets don't move and then just go, fuck yeah, right? It just doesn't happen. And if you try to take advantage of that kind of move every single day, on average, you're going to be wrong more often, which is what I'm against, right? Intra and daily. Odd USD been more bearish. Exactly, right? It's all over the place. We have another journal here. Let's take a look what we got. There better be photos. If there's no photos, I'm going to... Nice, we got photos. Good shit. Yep. You are going to be doing really well for yourself. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Well done, sir. Doing phenomenal. Let's see what kind of trades you're trading. Hey, those are the ICIs that we know and love. Good shit, man. Yeah, phenomenal. Absolutely nothing but just respect for this kind of thing. Yeah, keep it up. You should be funded in no time. So on the 1 hour, you are looking for a reaccumulation, redistribution, or S&D's holding, and then look for 15-minute ICI. I look for just models that are in tandem with what I'm looking for across other time frames models as well. But yeah, those are some of the things that I'll look for sure. Would you ever do a course on taxes and how to manage payouts? Yeah, sure. Here's my entire course. Ready? Call a tax accountant. Say, please, do my taxes. Do them well. Pay him, and you're done. That's how I do it, just so you know. I think GU is much cleaner than EU. Maybe. New invalidation rule. If Ment is short on EU and my Facebook sentiment is short, remove from watch list. There you go. Hey, Anton. See, but that's the thing, right? I'm short on EU. Okay? But have I touched EU in the last few months? No, not at all. And even as I looked at the weekly, what did I say? I'm probably not going to be touching EU for about 6 weeks on minimum, unless it makes a supply zone. And then I can look at the lower time frame to see if there's even a model. So it's very important to remember that, just because I might be bearish on it does not mean I'm actually trading it. It's not even on my watch list, really. Like, it's at the bottom. It's useless to me right now. Hey, Anton, what would you consider to be demand invalidation on UCAD? Breakdown of the context, 2 supply zones, or the demand low getting broken through. Can we go over a basis for what we generally want to see the MAs do when ICI is forming? Well, it's not about what we want to see. It's what you want to see. What I usually want to see is them generally heading upwards or going stale and ready to turn up again. And price interacts a little bit with them and then starts moving in tandem with them and then starts moving long. And I get in. Again, there's no one thing to it. That's what you need to realize about these. This is one of the main reasons I didn't want to necessarily just put the MAs on there, because a lot of people would think that there's like a special sauce to them. It's just that on a higher time frame, price should be around or near the MAs because that means it has room to move. On the time frame of entry, it's moving in tandem with them. That's really all there is to it. I'll definitely have more points on it and make more videos on it down the line, but that's really all I look for. It's nothing like, it's no secret sauce to it. It's just what I'm used to seeing because I've done it for over like 10,000 plus hours of testing, right? This thing better hold. You guys better buy UCAD on open so it goes up. All right. Thank you. Okay. Just kidding. It's not financial advice. Thank you guys. Thoughts on gold. I haven't touched it in a while. Just doing a lot of different things. Yeah, it's right now in potential reaccumulation. Yeah, it's actually not bad for some longs. Longs are starting to look okay on it. But again, like, I'm pretty sure it's different on the sentiment viewer. 1 hour is in a pretty nice reaccumulation, actually. It has 2 supply zones down right now, so I would wait for it to trade above here, create a demand zone, create demand, drop down lower. This is already in reaccumulation, so if it can create demand, it'll probably be around here, in which case it'll play out, boom, set up, and then take it. Then it'll be good. So actually, I'll put that on my list. It doesn't look terrible right now, but also I do care a little bit what this is saying. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It looks good for bullishness. I like it. I like it. Yeah. I'll probably be watching for this on gold. So gold's actually on my list now. EG can go off my list for now. GJ, UJ are probably about to go back on my list, but right now they're really ugly. Yeah, so I tried to follow it. I took a loss here and then it just failed. And then I said that it would keep failing here. I think some people were trying to look for longs on it here, but that was really weird. This looked like it was going to be bearish, and it was. And now it's making some demand to the top side, but then it made supply zone, supply zone. So right now I would wait for new demand to enter, drop down, and hopefully when this enters, you'll see a little bit of back and forth into accumulation. This will shift to accumulation, so start getting some bullish breaks. And then from there, you should be able to start following this thing long. So UJ might be okay, but right now it needs time to develop. I don't like it right now. I'd wait for at least a type 1, type 1 to 4 demand zone on this thing. Anton, can you have a look at JUR 40? FDAX. Looks like US 100. Same exact thing as US 100. Bullish, but way too extended. I don't want to follow this right now. Yeah, it's just extended. If you're not in this, you're not in this. You should be waiting for this to come back down, and then you can start watching it again on a 15, probably. But the entries were here at the latest, here at the midterm, here at the midterm, here at the earliest. Yeah. So entries were around there, and you should be managing this now. If you're not in this, then you should be waiting now. It's very, very simple. It's like US 100, 100%. Indicator adding is working. Nice. Yeah, so like you had a decent trade here, a good one here. Maybe you'd have one. I don't like that one. You have one here. That would have been a loss. This one's great. This one's phenomenal. Fine, fine. This one's like the latest one you would want to take. This one's really good. This one's fine. This one's really good. And now you're waiting. Yeah. So this is the latest entries you should have been taking on it. Now it needs to explode or it needs to reset again. Okay. Very, very simple. But yeah, it's bullish for sure. Thank you for answering my question. And yeah, the pictures were after price played out. I'm finishing my notes plus carbon with my system. Good. Yeah, that was absolutely beautiful, dude, for sure. Love cocoa. Everything the same. Yeah, cocoa. Trading some hot chocolate. No big deal. I mean, it's good that you're doing well. I don't see the entries here. I guess you entered on just the break of this. Again, so I'm used to seeing the MAs. They're probably doing a little something like this, and then you entered, so it's okay. And then the other one's probably doing something like that. Yeah. It's okay. I don't like this one that much. The stop loss is way too big for me. This one is better. I think the better setup was either here or here. I think these were better setups for me personally, and there was a really good setup right here. It's phenomenal, and this is too late, but if you did it, then I would be okay. It's okay. But these, I think, would be the best ones. This one I don't like. This one, I don't know how you did it. If you're doing like fractalized double MBs or something, then it's fine. It's approved. Otherwise, it's a little bit hard for me to see this one. It'd be a little bit hard for me to trade that. But I like these three. These three are phenomenal trades. And again, look at this, guys. We're on like hot cocoa here. Hot chocolate. Cocoa. But like it's all the same thing. It's the same market conditions, right? Bullish, bullish, bullish. Reaccumulation. Beautiful delivery. Reaccumulation. Now it's somewhat beautiful, but I would not trade this. Maybe there's a trade right here. Oh, yeah, so that one did work out. That's like the only other one I might consider. But these ones, I think, are the best ones. And then they get stopped out. So then maybe here as well. Right, so like even if you waited for one of these X's right here, you would have gotten a much better stop in RR on this thing. But either way, dude, if it's working, right? Yeah, this is MentFX approved. Looks really good. Looks exactly like my equity curve, right? Good systems will literally ICI their way to the top side. And sometimes go through reaccumulations. And then ICI again. If I can ICI your equity curve, basically your system is probably really, really good. Let's go look at some equity curves, right? Like if I can ICI the equity curve, and then it goes under reaccumulation. ICI. It just makes all-time new highs every time. This is the rule of all-time highs. Now you're waiting again to ICI the next high, or the inside of it, right? Good systems will consistently ICI its way to the top side, right? ICIs. Right now, what's it going to do next? It's going to go to new all-time highs again. He's going to make 800K, right? It's as simple as that. Good systems make money. That's it. How does trading the 50-minute decrease your time on the charts? Don't you still have to watch price all New York session anyways? Technically, yes, but I watch a lot more pairs, and if nothing is working, then I can walk away. I don't have to sit there for every minute, because on the 1 minute, in the next 10 minutes, you could be in a new context, and it'd be good. In the next 30 minutes, you could be in a decent context. On a 15-minute, the chart's either there or it's not. And then I show up. If it's not there, I walk away. And honestly, as you know, I'm probably going to work my way up to an even higher time frame. Probably be on the 1 hour, 4 hour / daily. Maybe soon. We'll see. And then I'll be trading setups like, I don't like FDAX here, but I'd be trading setups like these ones right here now. Right, it's the same thing, right? These setups are great. These are the ones I'll be trading. This one's a little bit ugly. I would not trade that one. I'd be waiting. But right now, right, what's the weekly doing? It still has potential to move through these highs. It's in a demand validation. It has an invalidation here. So right now, if you were like trading this maybe on an 8-hour or daily, you'd be waiting for what? Some kind of normal reset down into the ICIs to follow. Right? It's the same exact things on repeat. It's the same markets, the same thing, nothing changes. Just whatever works for you best, time frame wise. My backtesting at the moment, only M30 S&D with BOS and left effigy was 4500. All right. I mean, I don't teach a lot of that stuff, but that's good for you, dude. If you do have time to look at crypto on this call, can you run your eyes over it? Sure. So like, I stopped watching it just because I didn't have a good place to trade it, but we've been bullish on this thing for a while now, and it's been moving bullish, so it looks good for bullishness still. Yeah, this is great. The weekly, I would say now, it's like US 100. Right now, it's overextended. I'd give it some time to play back down if it can. If you're in this, then great, right? Daily had its great setups throughout here. And honestly, here on a lower time frame, you could start following it as well. So daily, yeah, you're looking at a demand zone that you just validated. No supply yet is coming in, which means that you have a probability for having this move sustain itself, right? 1 hour is actually not clean. Was bullish, reaccumulation, validated the reaccumulation, couldn't hold itself. So this could still actually be reaccumulation, even though it says distribution. Yeah, like you might be able to get a trade on this thing. I don't like it too much though. It's doing what Bitcoin likes to do. It's doing a lot of the sideways thing. And a lot of the sideways things usually means it goes like this. Or like this. So I'd probably ignore it now, but it's bullish. It is bullish. I don't like it too much though. It looks a little bit unclear now again. It's starting to do a lot of the go sideways for a while. If I was to trade this, you'd probably give it a chance to come down again, break down, stage one, play out the stage one, reaccumulation, and then hopefully it sets something up here before going sideways for too long, and you get a trade. Otherwise, again, I don't like trading these super long sideways markets because usually they don't pan out to clarity, right? Sideways, sideways, sideways. What does it do? Boom, 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 right? Sideways, 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 boom, boom. I mean, this one I guess worked out, but where are you going to buy it? It's hard to spot it, right? Are you going to buy it here? Are you going to buy it here? Are you going to buy it here? It's not really clear, right? Sideways, 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 sideways. Breaks out, breaks down. So again, those are not the setups I kind of look for. So right now, crypto, I don't see it. But there was beautiful money flowing into crypto for a while when we spoke about it around these points and these points here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I don't like this at all. I think this needs time to reaccumulate now. Anybody know if the premium indicator works on FX replay? Dude, FX replay is not correct at all. It's wrong. Don't use it. Use TradingView. It's the only place that you get the true one. What is the curve we are talking? Can you explain in short? What do you mean? I'm literally feeling like I'm in Anton's storyline with the Webbies. I'm at the point where he's about to be a father and now he's going to Disneyland with his kids and stuff. This is the course whole growing up with men. Why did you not like this ICI? Because it wasn't clear to me. But if it's clear to you, then it's approved. But yeah, it's actually okay. Now looking at it, it's okay. Again, I miss trades as well, right? I just know that if I continue taking trades based on what I know and based on what I do, I'm going to make money. So like, yeah, this was a fine trade as well. Honestly, looking at it, yeah, it's good. Surf the rising. This one just panned out to be just sideways. So yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good trade. Good eye. So Adam, if you trade something like this, I think you're in good hands. That's a good trade. For sure. I like it. And honestly, even this trade here, even though I think it's really late, I think this is the latest you could take the trade. I think this would be the latest, but I like this one as well. How do you use the ATR in different pairs, and what does the value represent? It shows you the ATR in different pairs, and the value is the average movement of the candles on that time frame of that pair. Just finished the S&D in the course. We'll need more studying to get this. Of course. Of course. What's your view on order flow? You're hilarious. You can see the real orders there. Oh my god. Nope. Goodbye. Have I used it? Do you see me bringing it up? Do you see me talking about it in any capacity? Do you see me selling you some order flow that you can now use? This is only useful if you're trading like 5-second charts or less. And even then, I never used it. It is worthless. It is a way for a new thing to be brought to you. It is going to be the next thing that's going to be sold online. It already is. It's going to be the next AI tool that you need to make money. So you can either focus on, go through the course and work on what's here, or you can go and pay whatever the fuck people are charging now for order flow, which is completely useless because it's not scalable. So if you want to be in this thing long term, do something that is repeatable, scalable, and doesn't make use of something that's completely fucking worthless. Okay? With demand/supply invalidation, are you looking for a break and close beyond the invalidation? Watch the remastered course. Oh, you mean like to invalidate? Yeah, probably. A break is fine. Yeah. Sorry. Anton, do you use for any reason sessions? Nope. What method would you use to make your own entry confirmation? Because I can't find any other good ones. Use the confirmations here. Choose one that works the best. Right? Going all in on UCAD for my dad meant... Okay, relax. My $300 risk should really move UCAD for you. Let's go. Let's go. Thoughts on GJ? Yeah, it's in reaccumulation. It needs time. Right now, it's just on the downside of the move. So probably just continue. But if it can pick itself up, then sure. Yeah, it's in distribution right now. Very heavy distribution. This is like UJ range. It would probably need to go sideways for about a few days, 2 to 3 days, start breaking long, or even break down, break back up, break back down, and go to stage 1. So I'm just waiting on this. But yes, bullish. All XXX JPY pairs I'm pretty much bullish on, but right now it's in waiting territory, right? UJ, same thing. Waiting. Both waiting. I don't see anything on these just yet. But it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. And if you were like a 1-minute trader, there's definitely more opportunity there. I would, but I probably wouldn't even take it because of all these bearish moves at the moment. So I'd stay out. And look, another loss I took this week on on GJ. What do you think about Bitcoin longs to clear the high? Sure. I don't like the moves on it right now though. What do you do if it doesn't do a type 1 to 4 demand zone? What do you think I do if my rules are not met? I'll ask you that question. Oh. Yep, I walk away. There is absolutely nothing I need to do if my rules are not met, regardless of what the rules are. If it's not in a clear context, am I going to force a context? No. If it hasn't made the demand validation or invalidation, am I going to follow it? No. If it's not interacting with the MAs the way I want it to, am I going to follow it? No. I have things that I do. I know how to walk away. I'm not working a 9 to 5. I'm not forced by any client or anything to make specific choices and be in trades. I'm not forced by any one person to put my money to work. I can simply wait for what I know best. Okay? George asks, what do you mean when you say FX replay is wrong? The indicator is wrong. It's poorly coded. It's incorrect. It doesn't show MBs correctly. It's randomized. It's not right. That's it. It's not good. Just use TradingView. Or learn the rule and draw the rule out yourself, right? Because again, I teach the rule here. UCAD, I mean, so this is like a mini ICI. I don't like this trade personally. Again, this really depends on what your rules are, but like you're buy stopping this, right? Like in this case, I don't like it. I hate it actually. But if that's your rule to like almost bottom fish it, then great, right? For me, MA's folding downward. This one's like literally just averaging its way down. So the odds are, like I said, that it's gonna do this, right? And it's gonna suck for me, but it is what it is. Otherwise, yeah, it could work. And if it does, phenomenal. But I would not take this trade just because I'm in a trade and I want it to go up, right? That's not the way you should be thinking about it. What do you think about oh, we went over that. Check DNX. Looks like it's in a really good context. DNX USDT. This thing. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely bullish. It had really nice demand validation down here, and then you could start following it. Now it had another demand validation, but it's made a huge move. So now you're probably waiting on the sidelines, right? Again, same thing. A lot of you, what I've noticed is you will find a market after the move has been played out. So like, yeah, it's good, but like you should be finding these as the market is setting up, right? Because this was perfect. This entry here, I mean, I don't really see, actually, it's not, I don't see the entry, right? But if you had traded it here, that's where you should be trading it, right? Not here. This is the move that you should be in, okay? This market has shown you the stage one, the accumulation, the new demand validation, and by likely the 50-minute entries, right? So 50-minute actually did have great entries, right? It started moving long, and then here you are. Entry, and potential very late term entry. The latest entry you might take, right? After that, there is nothing to do here until it resets or until it blows up. That's it. Right, so what you need to watch out for, and what I really want you to take from this, especially OSTOP, is you need to identify markets to trade before this move. Like now, it was a good move, right? This was a great context, and it worked perfectly. But if you're identifying the market here, well, what are you doing? Right now, it's going to take another 1 to 2 weeks, maybe less, to set up into a good trade again if this market is to continue its bullishness, right? So that's what you need to be aware of. But yeah. These were phenomenal entries. So if you're in on that off the DNX, phenomenal, right? These are great, right? And you can see how, unlike Bitcoin, right, it made a new range. It started setting up fresh action, and the fresh action was instantly met with follow through. It didn't start setting up action and start doing this. Because if it did, I'd be away from that market, right? Those are just small things that I've personally refined over time. Those are experience-based things. Those are things I don't want to see on a market that I want to be buying, right? What do you do if it doesn't do a type 1 to 4? Oh, we went over that. Got the premium indicator. Woo! It's working on the web version, but not the app on window. Got an exclamation mark on the app. Just restart it. It'll work. Time for me to go and get a hot cocoa from Starbucks before it shuts. See you later. I'll see you, Dan. Have a good one, man. Based on your personal experience, would you recommend a 15-minute entry time frame to new traders with less capital? I would recommend any time frame whatsoever. I would even recommend a daily chart. If I was actually to take a brand new person and start teaching them, I'd say only open a daily chart or like a 4-hour or 1-hour chart and just get used to what markets do on those time frames. Because again, oftentimes when you put someone on a 1 minute, they start to accumulate poorer habits. Okay, let's put it that way. But again, it doesn't matter. Everything's the same. It really doesn't matter. If you're backtesting properly, theoretically, it should be no different. The only difference is going to be when you go live and how long you have to wait for setups, right? That's it. How come some cryptos, when I place a decent lot size, it'll move 20 in profit, but literally make 30 cents from it? Well, because I don't know what you mean by decent lot size. Some cryptos have a contract size that's very small, and if you're trading them at 0.80 cents and you're opening like 20 lots, that's nothing. Simple. My friend will be using the Ment Hub code for the first time. He's excited to join. Hey, good shit, man. How long is the Ment Hub code valid for? Till November 22nd. Yep. I always like Friday moves. Friday afternoons, what I found, are some of my most profitable, especially after red news. I read in a book called The Best Loser Wins that Friday are notorious for runners. Yeah, Fridays can run, for sure. My backtesting at the moment, oh, this guy already said what he said. I love the content learning, the mentorship, and the backtesting, even if it lasts a little bit longer. Nice. Are you telling me all my testing on FX Replay is bullshit? If you've been using the MentFX indicator there, yes. But their stats, like the stats they show, I think are just useless. The stats that are shown there is just all useless. I would use a journal, which is why I've always been a proponent of just being on TradingView and journaling your findings, because you're going to get a lot more from that. I know it seems nice to have it all in one spot and they're doing it all, but it's in reality just I don't think it's useful. I think you can get a lot more done just by looking through. But that's just my point of view. Again, many people are wired differently. Sonia says, I just watched The Wiring, 5-hour plus video yesterday. It was awesome and left me confused as hell. So for once, I'm okay being confused because I'm on the right track. There you go. How long have we been in this thing? How are we doing here? Oh shit, we're at 2 hours. Okay. Now, I found it before. One of my friends, Crypto Crack, had found the crypto and I said it looks good. I identified it before. Good. Okay, so that's huge, Osop. So if you identified it around here, like literally around here, and you said it looks good, you are in a really good spot. Really good spot. Because you're completely correct, right? If you could identify this market around here or here and tell me it looks good based on its context, phenomenal, right? Because it is. It really is good, right? Because like the daily's done exactly what it daily needs to do, has a point to move towards, is putting in generally bullish price action with most recently verified demand. A lower time frame, like a 1 hour, is in clear stage 1 completion, stage 2 beginning, or mid stage 2. So if you looked at it around here, you know that it's in the SSC of a stage 2 or simply a reaccumulation. Phenomenal. And as you step down lower, 15 minute or 1 minute, yeah, you have a break long, which is signifying the reaccumulation, which is holding, and it's actually accumulation too. Yeah, this is phenomenal. So if you could identify that, you're in a really good spot. And that said, again, there might be some losses in here too that we could highlight. So for instance, actually, no, there's no losses. I don't see a good loss here. Maybe the only loss you would have taken if you were trading this prior to those is here. This is the only loss I see potentially. You get bought into right there and then instantly get stopped out. So like this kind of trade right there would also, this is a fine trade. And then this one, of course, this one probably protect just the low there. And this one at the latest where you probably protect that wick. So these would be like the trades you would be taking on this market. But yeah, if you could identify that before, which it seems like you did, you are on a really, really good, you're setting yourself up good. You're setting yourself up for something pretty good. Backtesting major markets in 2008. Markets were super wiki back then. It's all the same thing, man. It's all the same thing. Come on now. Thoughts on Tata Consultancy, TCS. Yeah, you're in some kind of bullishness. It was all the way down here. Very ugly, but the reaccumulation is playing out. The 1 hour is just coming out of a stage 1. So yeah, this needs time. This needs to come down a little bit. 15 minute needs to start creating a reaccumulation model, which is what it's doing right now. Come up the right-hand side, set up something here, and then it could be good. But right now, you'd be waiting. But yeah, this is a fine identifier. Like, so like this market, you're identifying it right here is where you just identified it. You need to wait for this, okay? So like you identified it, that's okay. The model is there, sure, it's playing out, but it needs to undergo, what the fuck was it called? DNX? Okay, I lost it. There it is, DNX. Yeah, you identified it, that market around here or here. This is where you just identified it. So it needs to undergo this. In what number can we get the premium indicator? Hashtag. It'll be in announcements. Just wait there. I will send it all out shortly, okay? Do not worry. Is this the issue you said? Was this the issue with the indicator? My goats, Messi and Mentefx. Nice. Nice. All right, guys, listen. Regarding the indicator, the premium indicator, this one specifically, it'll be made available hopefully this week, and I will write a little announcement for when it's ready, okay, guys? I made that very clear. I said that, once it's out, everyone here will know. All right, so it's no worries there. Now I'm gonna wrap this up because we are very deep in the sauce. But very simply, my general watchers for the week are US 100 longs, UCAD longs, of course, if this wants to start sustaining it. Gold longs are actually good if we can start validating, and waiting on. So on the sidelines, GJ and UJ longs are on sidelines for me right now. Other than that, I don't really see anything on most other things. So those are just my watchers today. I hope, for this week, I hope you guys enjoyed this webinar. I hope you took a lot from it. We spoke a lot about the invalidations, some demands, supply zones things, and showed you some more examples there. Showed you some stuff on the 1 minute to show you, exactly how we do the same thing across all time frames. So hopefully you can now use that, get better and better and better, and go get funded. So thank you all so much for being here. Have a beautiful rest of your Sundays and have an amazing upcoming week. I'll see you all in the trade talks, okay?